Yo, what's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Prison Break Raw. I'm your host, the one and only Big JD. Go ahead and give this channel a subscribe, share at least some messages or comments, thumbs up, notification bell to be informed on all upcoming episodes. This is the second installment for the series of Women in Chains. Basically, we're interviewing various different women across the country that done time, mainly in like the Florida prison system, the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, and the California Department of Corrections. Today, I have my good friend, Kayla. She's with me. She's done time not only in the TDC, but she's also done time in Ohio. She's going to go ahead and share her story, and we're also going to ask her some questions and get on into this. So what's up, Kayla?
Hi, what's up?
So how is your, so tell us a little bit about what is the get down in the TDC, the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, as far as women's? We know that the system is really jacked up, but what's it like for women in there?
Well, like, okay, so as far as like the dudes goes, we don't do tattoos and stuff like that on each other in there. It's more a relationship type status thing going on in there. There's no, it's like, I don't know how to explain it really, but it's, okay, whenever I see guys or my brother or people come home and like they're all tatted up, we don't have none of that. It's just like pretty much laid back, you know, like all you have to worry about is the officers or your girlfriend.
Yeah, so I've heard, like, I just interviewed a friend of mine named Dawn Marie. She did time in Florida, and she said that in the women's prisons down there, they basically break up into like what's called families. Do they do the same thing in the TDC?
Yeah. You either have you'll have all your blacks. Is that what you're talking about?
Well, like in Florida, they don't segregate over there. They're just.
Oh, okay. Well, in TDC, they segregate us here. They don't keep you with your family. Like my mom and me were on the same unit in San Saba, and as soon as they found out that I was her daughter, they shipped me off.
No, I mean what they said in Florida is they form their own little families in there.
Yes, they do that here too.
Do they do it racially segregated? Do like all the white girls stay with the white girls, the black girls stay with the black girls, the Mexicans with the Mexicans? Do they do it like that, or is it just everybody together?
It's like, it's mainly either white girls with Mexicans or white girls with black girls.
Oh, okay. Just depends on like what their get down was in the streets?
No, the streets had nothing to do with how you take care of yourself in there or how you live in there. A lot of people on the streets would be one way, and then they go to in the TDC, and then they start hanging out with people that they've never hung out with in the world. So
right,
it's completely the opposite.
Okay. Do they have like, do the women form like prison gangs in there and stuff? Do they have like women's prison gangs, or are they just whatever they were?
There's gangs, but usually if they're in a gang, they came from the streets in it. But there's no gang rivals going on in TDC.
So they don't have like female version of like prison gangs in there?
No.
What about like, do they manufacture their own like shanks and all that stuff?
Yes, they will. They have taken razors, because you're allowed to have one razor in your box. They'll take the razor, smash the razor, take an empty ink pen, and just like carve a little piece of it out and stick it in there, and then take some string out of the whites, the thread from the whites, and then tie it up.
Damn.
Or they put the locks in the socks, or we have hot pots. That's what we used to cook with in there. So I've seen people use hot pots before.
So have they ever gone like hard? You ever seen like, do the women ever have like a full out riot in there?
No.
Yeah, much different than a man's prison. Let me ask you this. Everyone I ever talked to that's done time in a woman's prison always says the same thing about the guards. Do the guards go like a lot harder on the women? Do they treat them like bad? I mean, do they come at them with all kinds of like sexual harassment and everything?
It's either you'll have the officers that they're cool with a couple people, and then they're a bitch to everybody else on the unit, or else you have your officers that are super strict and they don't care. They're just there to do their job, and that's it. And then you have officers that do start sexual relationships. But an overall average, I would say they're probably more or less harder on us than they are for us.
What about like, do women like they couple up in there and stuff like that, like get married and all that?
Yes, that's what I was saying earlier about, like, it's just either there's no gangs, there's no tattoos. The only thing you're going to be worrying about is people wanting to, be your friend for commissary, or if your girlfriend is with another chick. I mean, that's all it is. It's just pretty much a relationship. You're just away from your family, locked up, being in a relationship with another chick. That's all it is.
Now I heard about those chain gangs down in Texas. Do they have women chain gangs as well?
What do you mean?
The chain gangs. I guess they call them the Ho Squad, where they go out there.
Yes, they'll take about 225 of us out there, and we'll ride on a little wagon, and we're all handcuffed. One hand's handcuffed to another inmate, and then you sit with your back against another inmate with your head down between your knees, and then they take you. The tractor will pull you out wherever you're at, wherever they're taking you to, and then the guards will be on horses with shotguns, and then you'll get out in the field, and then you'll get your Aggie, and they'll tell you, they'll start chanting this stupid thing, and then you're not allowed to bring up the Aggie. The Aggie cannot come above your knee, or whenever you're fourth step, and it comes a little higher, but it's not to ever raise your shoulder or your knees. It depends on which one you're doing, or else they'll shoot you on sight.
And they call that CO out there in the horse, they call him a field boss, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I heard that before, field boss.
Yep, they call him the boss.
And do they do the same thing in the women's prison in TDC? Like they call the COs, they don't call them CO, they just call them boss, right?
No, the only ones who get called bosses are the field officers. Okay. The dorm officers, they're called officers, or then like the ENR, which is like education and recreation, then they're just called whatever their name is.
Okay. Let me ask you this. I asked somebody else the same question. The lady that did time in Florida. And I kind of want to ask you what the get down is in TDC regarding the politics of what would happen if a woman comes in there and she's either like killed her own kids, beat up her kids, or she's a female sex offender. Does she get the blues in there for that?
No. In the state of Texas, they do not keep offenders like that separated from other offenders. They house us all together. So whenever I did almost 10 years in TDC, and for the first 6 years, my bunkie beside me was a 72-year-old black lady that had been in there for 27 years for murdering her husband. And then I was bunk 4, she was bunk 3, and then bunk 5, a chick. She's in there for molesting 3 of her kids, and one of them got killed. And I mean, we all knew about it, but as far as like, do people put their hands on them? No. The worst thing that they do is they want them type of people out of our dorm. They don't want them around us. They don't want them on our unit. And so they'll stick shanks or blades or pills, any type of medication in their cubicle, or else they'll drop kites to the what's it called, the PREA people. There's ways to get them out of there, but as far as like putting their hands on them or anything like that, no. The most they're going to do is get them moved out and shipped up to our unit, or else while they're there, they're going to just belittle them and degrade them.
Yeah. Okay, so that kind of pretty much covers the next question. Next question would be like, do they check each other's paperwork in there, or is that not even an issue?
Nope.
So there ain't no hooping of the paperwork going on in the women's prison in TDC, right?
Nope.
You ever heard that saying, hooping the paperwork?
No.
Well, you got some cats that are out there that they talk about, they like to stick their legal paperwork up their ass so that they have it once they hit the unit. But I take it that women don't have to worry about that in TDC, right?
No.
Yeah. What about like, I'm not going to ask you no inner like secrets, and I'm not going to ask you for no names and stuff like that. like I said, this is all just basic information that gives us kind of an idea of what somebody would expect going into a woman's prison. Um, you said you did time in Ohio as well, right?
Yes.
So is Ohio, is it like night and day from the TDC?
It is. The first time I ever went to prison was in Ohio, and I wasn't there but a very short time, just a few years or whatever. And it is completely, totally different. Like in Ohio, it's it's like a big old college campus, and you can go outside. It's ORW. It's Marysville, and you go outside in the rec yard, and it's like, I don't know. It's like all of the women's prisons for Texas. There's 7 satellites, and we're all separated. Like each unit, what's one unit, but each satellite has a different name, but they're separated. In Ohio, it's not like that. It's like you're going to Yale or Harvard to the dormitory rooms, because we're all put together there too. And there's no cubicles there. It's just bunk beds lined in a row, separating with a little brick wall. There's relationships. There is drugs there. There's no drugs in Texas for the women anyways. I mean, some places you might, but very rarely do you come across that. In Ohio, they're smoking cigarettes. They have in Ohio, they have the thing called the hole, where as far as in TDC, they don't. It's called a offender protection investigation, an OPI, where you just go to the intake and sit in a little cell or whatever. As far as Ohio goes, they actually still have the hole. And then like the food's different, the commissary's different. You get clothes boxes, you get TVs in the prison in Ohio. You do not get TVs in Texas. You do not get no little radios. You can get a radio if you get to an actual ID unit, but it's like, it is completely opposite. The telephone system, as far as TDC goes, if your family doesn't have a contract phone through the telephone company and it's on your landline, then you're not going to get a phone call. In Ohio, it's just like me going down to the corner store using the payphone, call and collect. And, they get the choice of accepting it or not.
So in Ohio, it's how about like grouping up in there and the politics in there? Do the girls separate like in TDC,
Yes.
like white, black, and all that?
Yeah, no, in Ohio they're separated.
And they don't, do they form like prison gangs in there and all that kind of shit?
Yes.
So the women in Ohio are way different than the ones in Texas, huh?
Yes. Yep.
What would you say was more like dangerous, the TDC for women or the Ohio for women?
I would say Ohio.
Yeah, really? And they got a lot more freedoms and privileges?
Yeah, the only difference between them and as far as like the freedom and privileges things goes is that they house like people with the such charges as you were saying earlier, the sex offenders or the pedophiles or the baby beaters or whatever. They don't house them with us over there. They go by the degree of your felony. As far as Texas goes, they don't care. Texas is gonna put you wherever. In Ohio, they do care. Like they're gonna house you with the type of people that has the severity of the crime that you have. However, whenever the horn blows and it's rec time, anyone on the unit can go outside, except for death row. So I mean, it wouldn't be nothing for someone to do something to somebody and then them be like, hey, I'm gonna get you later on at the rec yard, and then them go out there and shank them or some shit,
So they've had like the women in Ohio. Do they frown down on the sex offender? Do they is it on site? Do they bum rush them when they see them?
As soon as they find out that, usually you'll get a paper whenever you go in, and it states like what the degree of your charges are or whatever. But 9 times out of 10, we can tell what type of people they are by where they're being housed at, or where they have you. Because you'll go, I can't remember what it's called or whatever, but you'll have like this. It's not general population, but you'll be in like this little tiny infirmary type thing, and you'll stay there for like 6 weeks until they get your vitals and all your blood work and everything done. And then whenever you come back, they'll give you a piece of paper about 4 weeks and about 2 weeks for the popular in general. And usually by the way that they have you housed in an infirmary and the color of your paper is how we know who has what charges.
Oh, so they checking paperwork in Ohio, huh?
Yes.
Damn. Sounds like the TDC needs to step up their game a little bit.
Yeah, TDC is, I don't even know what to say.
Just seems like they don't give a fuck. They just throw the weird in there with everybody, huh?
Yeah, they don't give a fuck.
Yeah, so you hear that out there, ladies? You down there in Texas running muck with your man? Don't go to TDC because you're gonna be in there with some real funny ass weirdos. Going to Ohio.
Yeah, as far as if you're trying to survive, anyways, you better learn how to fucking scrub clothes, wash some sheets every day. If you ain't got no one sending you money, that's how people in Texas survive. In Ohio, it's different. You know, Ohio they pay you for working, and TDC you're working in fucking host squad for free.
Yeah. So you get pay numbers in Ohio, huh?
Yes, they pay you.
Do you got like industries, like prison industries, where people make a lot more money?
It's called Kairos. It's like it's kind of like what Texas has is kind of like the Bridges to Life type thing.
Yeah.
You know what that is?
Yeah, I've heard of Kairos. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, Ohio has Kairos. And then like Ohio prison it was way better than Texas as far as like freedom and things to do, because like on every Saturday night they have American Idol where people go in there and they do the talent shows or whatever, and then they play bingo. As far as Texas goes, we're not allowed to have cards, we can't have checkers, we're barely allowed to have dominoes anymore.
God, man, that's just like some rough time. And I heard them Texas units are hot as fuck. No air conditioning, people sweating like hogs in there.
As far as the female goes, there's only one unit on the satellite, and that was thank God I was on that unit that had air conditioning. But we also was the only unit who showered outside. We didn't have no showers in our dorm. In order for us to shower, we had to keep our clothes folded up and rolled up in a towel sitting at the end of our bunk. And if we worked in the kitchen or we went to school all day, we'd come home. And like when they call showers, like you just get up, you run. There's 64 people in a dorm, and you gotta you'll see people running and damn near breaking people's necks to get to the line. And because there'll be times that that they don't call showers. They only have to call them every 3 days. It's only mandatory that they shower you every 72 hours. And so the days that we don't get a shower, we'll go to a stall that has no toilet in it and has a drain in it, and they'll give you a 3-gallon bucket and what we call shower buddies. And then like in the summertime, the water is so hot, and then in the wintertime, it is cold because there's no hot water. It goes by the temperature outside.
That sucks. But they don't you got no in the Ohio prison system. You got showers in the units and all that shit, right?
Yeah, we have showers inside.
What about like in Ohio? I don't know if I asked you this. Do they have like female prison gangs in there? Do they have like I guess like I said, another lady said in Florida they got these women, they call them studs. They're like a boy. They come in there.
Yeah.
What do they call them in Ohio?
They're not. They're just called little boys. There's no Ohio doesn't have a name on them like Texas does.
What do they call them in Texas?
Stud broads.
Stud broads?
Yeah.
Wow.
Some of them really do look like men too.
So is there like in Texas, in some of them units that are hot, is there like women just walking around in their underwear and their bras like the dudes?
Oh no.
Boxers? No?
No, that's a major case. I mean, you get 3 major cases, and state of Texas will charge you with a sex crime.
What about in Ohio? Do they run around their bra and panties in there?
Nope, no. We're allowed to have our shirts off with our sports bras on, but we can't run around in our panties.
Okay. So that just kills all that myth about all the erotica about women's prisons. They're all running around in thongs and all that stuff all over the place.
Yeah, we don't have no thongs. And if you get caught in state of Texas, if you get caught with no panties on, that's an automatic sex case right there too.
Damn, that's vicious.
Yeah.
Better make sure them underwears is clean in that sink all day, right?
Yeah.
Do they give you more than one pair at least?
You get 3 pairs.
3 pairs for 7 days.
Yep, 3 pairs for 7 days, and you don't get new ones until every 6 to 9 months.
That's going rough right there.
Yeah, and they're not even Hanes either, so.
They're just some off-brand shit that somebody made in some penitentiary factory somewhere in the state, right?
Yep.
What about in Ohio? How many, like, do you get like more changes of clothes in there?
Yeah, you get 7. You get 7 of each, and they give you real shoe. I mean, you in TDC you have to pay for your shoes, like. But as far as going into the unit in Ohio, they give you real shoes, decent shoes. But they give you 7 bras, 7 panties, 7 socks. TDC, and TDC, you don't get to keep your socks. You have to turn your socks in every other day. So it's like okay. So like I said, we had 7 satellites for the one female prison system there. So like you have over 4,600 women pretty much, and none of the only unit that has the washers and dryers is the Riverside. So people will come over and the clothes that we're wearing, if we turn them into the laundry, that shit gets recycled. So like I could be wearing someone's socks that the 5,000 women over done wore 3 days ago that had toe fungus or athlete's foot on it or some shit,
And we all know that them washers don't really wash that shit.
No. Basically
just turns it into a big old giant fucking crock pot of soup.
Yeah, because I know a lot of us, as soon as laundry day comes, the first thing we do is we wash our sheets, we wash our laundry. So most of us, we just keep our whites and we just keep our shit and wash it, ourselves.
Do you wash it in the sink, or do you guys have like a designated toilet you can use because we used our toilet in the CDC and in the feds. If we had to, the feds though, we had washing machines and everything, but in the CDC and California Department of Corrections, our toilet was our washing machine.
No, we use sinks.
Yeah, we use our toilets.
They've used this shit so much that they even fall off the wall.
Yeah, you can get your shit down in that toilet, man. I've seen some of my homies and everything take a whole sheet and just flush it all the way down in there and then pull it back up and flush it down in there and pull it up and then wring it out and it's clean as a whistle.
Yeah, maybe we could probably have done that if we had showers in our dormitories, but because Sycamore didn't, the sewer system, we were already the last satellite anyway, so we barely had running water. I know multiple times that they would have to come with tanks of water, or porta potties, and then take us outside, certain hours of the day or night to let us use the restroom and shit. But we don't do that there. We can't. There ain't no way.
All right, let me ask you this one. This is out of left field. I asked the other one the same question. Do the women, do they have like a special skill of making devices, sex devices and all that, like dildos and such?
Yes. Yeah, you either take an ink pen and you stick 2 pads together, and then if you can get a rubber glove, then you just mold it into the middle finger and then tie them around each other. Or else if you can't get a rubber glove, then you'll get a trash bag or some shit. And then there's Jolly Ranchers. If you just let them soak in some water and you melt them down, because we get fans in there. And then you don't put them in a whole lot of water, but you just melt down all the little Jolly Ranchers, and then as it's slowly drying up, you mold it however you want it, and then you just sit it in front of the fan and let it dry for like 2 or 3 days. But the Jolly Ranchers is not safe, because what if it broke? If it broke off in there, and then it's not safe to. You could really hurt someone like that.
Yeah, they've taken Jolly Ranchers out of some place. They took them out of they were working on taking them out of the spot that I was at in the feds. They took them out of the CDC in the couple of places I've been at, because you can make that into a bomb-ass bone crusher. It's like a piece of glass. You can just stab it in somebody and break it off in them. Motherfuckers choking on straight cherry, watermelon, grape, and everything else. So they make that must be a lot of Jolly Ranchers if somebody's got to have that Mandingo, right? So they got
5 bags. 5 bags will make a decent one.
Okay. Well, did they ever, I've heard of them making them out of bars of soap. Has anybody ever made them out of bars of soap and shoved the glove on that?
No, in the women's TDC prison, soap is sacred. because we'd rather have our clothes clean than we would be fucked. I mean, if we want to get fucked, we'll just go right down here to cubicle, whatever, and get fucked, you know?
Yeah.
So the soap there is very sacred, especially if people don't make store, because they only give you 3 little bars of soap about this big, and you only get it every 2 days, every other day. Because you go to laundry Monday, Wednesday, Friday, so those are the only days you get soap. Now, if you make store, then that's a different story, you know, but they're always running out of soap as well at the store, so it's not like soap is very sacred in TDC.
All right, one last one for that little topic. You know, we're gonna do a little bit of Mythbusters. A lot of people are under the assumption or believe the stories they hear about when you got that one meal of the night. In the feds or in the state, they call it ladies' night. It's
hot dog night.
That hot dog night, that zinger. Do they really chop those up in the women's prison?
Yes, they do. It is called ladies' night. We have two. We have the big sausage. It's like a big humongous summer sausage, and that's called Big Dick Daddy night. And then we have two hot dogs. We get 2 hot dogs. Well, they wouldn't cut up. They were pieced together. We would have 2 hot dogs, which is called ladies' night. But they do cut them up.
Damn. Do they chop them up in Ohio too?
No.
Fuck, man. Ohio sounds like Club Med.
Yeah, it's completely different.
Woo, man. I can't imagine being a woman wanting to break the law in the state of Texas. Might as well just move out of that state. You're going to be doing any kind of dirt.
Yeah, when that sign says don't mess with Texas, it ain't playing.
Yeah, especially if you're a woman going in there. You really ain't going to. 3 pairs of underwear, showers outside, Jolly Rancher dildos, fucking all that shit. It's all bad. What about the commissary?
Oh my God, the fucking commissary is horrible. It's just pretty much your average, like, Roman noodles. We do get like seasonal packs and stuff. So you get like the like on Valentine's Day, you'll get the candy pack, and it comes with like a little orange. It's a chocolate orange or some shit. Then you get the meat packs, which comes with little sausages, and then crackers, and then the cheese packs. And it's Roman noodles, and you get Big Red, Big Blue, cookies, and it's not like Ohio. You get marshmallows, you get tortillas where they have pizza sauce and pepperonis and mozzarella cheese. You can pretty much almost make whatever in there. And TDC is not like there's things to make meals. I mean, you can make do with it, but it's like the store in TDC is nothing like Ohio.
So the TDC, their canteen, is it called canteen or commissary?
It's called store.
Oh, it's called store, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is it called in Ohio? Is it called store, commissary, or what do they call it?
Canteen.
Canteen, yeah. So like the TDC store list, is it like a small little list?
It's it'll be on a sheet of paper, one page, the front page.
Can you buy like sweat clothes or like tennis shoes, anything like that?
Yeah, you can buy New Balances, and there's only one pair. They're all white or white. Sometimes they'll be other women's. The women's are all white, so then they'll have white and gray ones, which are the men's. We can buy New Balances for almost $60. As far as like clothing type goes, you can only buy shorts, a t-shirt, a thermal top, and a thermal bottom.
Can't buy no.
And then no, they don't. We don't have. That's what I'm saying. Like, where there's nothing there. Like, you're gonna get the TDC whites that they give you to wear, and that's it. There's no, unless you have a t-shirt or shorts, a thermal bottom, and thermal top. That's the only clothing you have there. You can buy different type of material sports bras, especially if like women has bigger breasts. Like they do provide those, or better panties like Hanes instead of TDC made. But as far as like the clothing wise goes, that's it. That's all there is.
Ooh, shit. Okay, well, last but not least, I'm gonna ask you a little bit about like your defining moment of getting out of the TDC? Because I know you've been there a couple times. I know you've been in Ohio. When you got out this last time, what was like, what was finally it for you that told you that you didn't want to be a part of that shit no more?
The last time I got out was whenever I first started, when I talked to you again in 2017. That's when the last time I got out of prison. I think the moment that it struck me that I was done in there, for like the last almost 3 years while I was in there, I had only received like maybe a handful of letters, from the people from the outside, people that I thought were, supposed to be my people or whatever. And I was just, and the more I laid in that bunk day in and day out, I was just thinking about the things like all my like I have like a couple charges for my own, but every time I've ever been to prison, it was because I've taken a charge for some dumbass dude or some shit, So I felt like, I deserve to be loved, and like I deserve to love myself. And so while I'm in prison, I'm about to be 31, I still ain't got no kids, and I still have like almost a whole life ahead of me, and I spent damn near all my 20s in prison. That's not what I want. There's more to life than that. There's more to life than going out there and sticking a needle in my arm or putting a needle in my neck or shooting up heroin or being with some dumbass dude that don't give two fucks about me and then me going to prison behind him, There's, who cares if people wrote me or sent me money or if they didn't, if I never got visits or whatever. All that matters is that I know that deep down inside that I'm loved, God loves me. I'm a human being. We all have feelings. Everyone is beautiful inside and out some way or another, I feel like everyone deserves to be loved. And if you love yourself, then you'll never let yourself down, because with females, most of us, we live our lives based off of our emotions and how people make us feel. So my entire life, I've always felt like I was shit. I was nothing. No one gave a fuck about me. I didn't deserve to be happy. I deserved to be with some woman beating ass piece of shit dude, I would get high to ease the pain, but only to wake up and still feel it, If I would just care about myself and I love myself, then I know that I'll be all right. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you don't like me, fuck you. Who gives a fuck if you like me or not? If I love myself, then I know that I can only go up from there. But if I don't love myself, then I don't give a fuck about myself. So I'm going to go down to the bottom and degrade myself and be with another piece of shit. Does it make any sense? Yeah,
it does. I just want to tell you that there was no way I could have ever written to you because, well, I was in the feds.
Yeah, and TDC don't let you write inmate to inmate.
Well, I mean, it never would have happened anyways because it never would have left the mailroom. Once they saw there was an institution on there, I'd had to get it approved through my PSR review and all kinds of bullshit, just to red tape, just to send a letter to somebody in the feds. Let me ask one final thing. Like, you're doing good now, but you're moving in a better direction than you were before. Do you how do you feel about like getting busted and all that? Do you believe that you basically put yourself in all these situations, or was it the system that like put you in there, society, whatnot? I mean, you take responsibility for everything you did?
Absolutely. Like, although I've taken those charges for the couple, I've taken charges for 3 dudes. So although I've taken those charges for those dudes, is it those guys' fault that I did prison time? No, it's not. It was my choice, my decision. I chose to take the charge, There's things that could have happened differently that I wish would have, Do I regret ever doing it? Absolutely. But as far as like, is it the system's fault because I went to prison, or is it his fault because I went to prison for taking this charge? No, it's no one else's fault but my own. My own actions and my own choices is what landed me there.
That's a strong woman right there to believe that. Hey, you a true survivor, man. You a true soldier. Like I said, me and you, I mean, we went through some shit together, didn't we? Went through some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm doing good. You're doing good. And the best thing to do is always stay involved with people like this. Let you know that. I appreciate you sharing your story. I'm sure it's going to be a big inspiration for a lot of women. It's going to also be a deterrent for some women that are thinking about going through that and thinking about taking a charge for their man. I'm pretty sure you would tell them right now, don't even do it.
Don't fucking do it.
Yeah.
Don't fucking do it, because I'm telling you right now, you might think that motherfucker loves you and that he's gonna be there for you either while you're in there or when you get out. But I can guarantee you one thing: ain't no one gonna be there for you like yourself. And while you're laying there at nighttime and you're thinking about all your family and your so-called friends in the free world that are still out there, or the people that you feel like should be in your place instead of you being where you're laying at nighttime in there, you will truly find yourself being in a place like that. And I promise you, whenever it's all said and done with, 5 years from now, when you look back on it and you're like, hey, I just did a 10-year bit for a dude that I barely knew for 2 years, and the motherfucker ain't even heard one word from him, hide nor hair. They're not going to be around. Like, yeah, you might, if you live in the same town or whatever, you may run across each other in the streets if you're in the streets again, or by passing some chance. But 99% of the time, you're doing that time for nothing, because they're not going to be around much longer.
He's already got some other broad doing another bit for him, huh?
Yep.
All right, well, you got any shout outs you want to send? You want to say hi to anybody, anything like that?
No, I just want to tell you that I'm proud of you, and I think that you're a very strong man, and I look up to you. You know, I'm very proud that you have taken your obstacles through life and have turned them around. And not only are you changing the life for yourself, but you're trying to change lives of others, you know, around the world. And I feel like that's a good calling. You know, that I think that you found your purpose in life. And I'm very glad to be able to see firsthand that from where we were before to where we are today, you know. I think that we both have came a long ways.
I mean, hey, one thing I could say is, like, I was, in the short time we ran amok, I knew I can always depend on you. I can always count on you. I couldn't say that about a lot of other people.
Yeah, you'll always have my loyalty, that's for sure.
I appreciate it. You the greatest. Much love to you. Prison Break Raw, bringing you that uncensored, uncut, no holds barred, no sugarcoating, non-politically correct, slapping you with, you know what, raw content. Peace out.